All courses of action are risky. Prudence is not in avoiding danger, but calculating risk and acting decisively. This is Machiavelli's sharp whisper. Power is seized in motion, not in idle safety. You're invisible, overlooked in promotions, ignored at meetings, passed by in relationships. That isn't a coincidence. It's strategic erasure, a silent cloaking in plain sight. But you're not fading from view. You are being devoured by mediocrity, complacency, invisibility. This battlefield doesn't belong to the timid. You either arm yourself with value or perish like forgotten infantry. Remember the Roman arena, where thousands of gladiators, slaves, criminals, the condemned fought and died anonymously. A handful rose to legend. The rest, dust in the sand, replaced without ceremony. In your world, the unremarkable are the first to be excised from every system, from layoffs to promotions to social circles. When budgets are cut, the average disappears. You don't get fired, you are erased because you weren't seen as indispensable. Value is not just protection, it's a weapon. Imagine yourself forged in steel while others are splintered wood. When the storm hits, wooden branches snap, but steel bends, holds, and strikes back. You don't want to be someone's backup plan or fallback. You want to be the blade they rely on, sharp, trusted, unavoidable. When value is your armor, every move you make becomes a strike, every skill you cultivate a shield. Your enemy isn't the person across the table, it's comfort. The soft whisper of good enough. It's conformity, the slow death of originality. It's the quiet ease of sameness. In every department, team, or social dynamic, being easily replaced makes you lethal only in theory. You must name this enemy, the complacency that trusts routine over evolution, that prefers safety over significance. So stand up. Let being unseen feel like a noose, but tighten your grip on who you are. Sharpen your craft until invisibility is impossible. Become the value they cannot discard, the presence they cannot ignore. The battlefield is set. Equip yourself, earn the shadow crown. Be valuable, be unavoidable. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You occupy a throne no one else sees, your mind. Yet in a world clamoring for your attention, this throne sits unguarded, so others advance while you stand as a pawn in your own court. Every thought you let infect your mind is a traitor creeping in. Every emotion unruled is an assassin slipping through the shadows. You can choose your posture, become the king of your inner kingdom, or be stamped on by the pawns of stress, doubt, and impulse. In the great courts of history, rulers mastered themselves first. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that his power lay not in the world, but within his own reasoning. He commanded his court of thoughts with discipline, building inner walls so solid that no external siege shook him. Now consider your own court. Do you rule with an iron will, or does indecision hold your throne hostage? When hesitation extends even a few heartbeats, lesser forces swoop in. CEOs lose deals, politicians lose votes, and wars are lost, not on the battlefield, but in the silence before they begin. You cannot wait for certainty. Even a throne built of glass can glance forward and crush doubters. Self-sabotage is treason. Every whisper of "I can't," every flicker of "maybe later" is a dagger aimed at your own back. You let yourself down before anyone else can. These are not mental shadows, they're hidden enemies. You must stand guard in your own court, execute doubt at first sight, and burn betrayal where it stands. Your throne must never sit empty. In moments of uncertainty, lesser men seize power. When you hesitate, someone else steps into your mind. They fill your focus with chatter, distraction, petty worry. They wrest control and rule your intentions. You must silence that vacancy, decide swiftly, act decisively. Take your crown back from every doubt. You will feel the cost of failure. Without self-mastery, your life becomes other people's script. You become a pawn in dramas you never plotted, and those dramas end with you erased, forgotten, and irrelevant. But when you rule yourself, when your mind is the throne and you its king, you become a fortress. You are not moved by rumor, distracted by emotion, or thrown off by fear. You act with clarity. You command your moves. You become the strategist in the war of your life, not the casualty. So command your court, crush doubt. Expand your dominion. Rule your mind or be ruled by it. Master yourself and you wear the crown. You must begin every action like a battle, swift, decisive, born from discipline. The dawn is your battlefield. With the first light, the war begins. Napoleon taught that in military operations, hours determine success. Campaigns live or die by mornings. When you win the dawn, the rest of the day falls in line behind your conquest. You rise before the world stirs. That moment, while most of the camp is still fogged in slumber, is your chance to launch the first arrow. Discipline at dawn is your momentum. It sets the tone, turning the day into a campaign you lead, not one you react to. You don't wait for clarity, you create it. You don't wait for permission, you strike first. But dawn is when your enemy lurks closest. It's then that lethargy, comfort, distraction, and the soft pull of the pillow conspire to ambush you. They attack your will before your brain has defended the throne. That half-conscious pause, that hesitation, those are the ambush points. Out of them grow excuses. Just 5 more minutes. Later, when I feel more ready, tomorrow will be better. That's how kings grant power to chaos. You fight back. You armor yourself in ritual. Ritual is discipline given shape and armor. Do what champions do. Rise with intent, train before noise invades, spend time in cold clarity before the world demands your mind. CEOs and athletes, those modern commanders, rise early, refrain from trivial decisions, dive into ritual before reaction. They meditate, they train, they move. Their mornings are sanctuaries, not battlefields. They prepare their minds in silence, so when the world roars, they are already focused. The CEO who reads while dawn breaks, the athlete who plunges into ice before heat, they don't wait for the day, they win it. You must do the same. Command the morning. Execute your ritual like the general organizing troops before dawn. No scrolling, no inbox. Just action. Move your body. Sharpen your mind, set your intent in blood and discipline, train your morning until action becomes reflex, until hesitation is extinct. The stakes are brutal. Lose the morning, and you surrender momentum. You become a reaction instead of creation. Others carve your time, invade your focus. You play defense against distractions, while ambition slips through your fingers. But win the dawn, and the day bows to your will. You become the strategist, directing every hour toward your aim. You rise with power, not with permission. So stand now, seal your morning in armor and ritual. Strike the first arrow before the world can aim. Win the dawn. Seize the dawn. Command the day. It is better to be feared than loved. If you cannot be both, power is not always loud. It is not always the roar, the march, or the clash of steel. Sometimes the deadliest weapon is silence, the stillness before the storm, the pause that unsettles, the quiet that makes men doubt themselves. In a chaotic world where everyone rushes, reacts, and shouts over each other, the one who can remain calm becomes untouchable. Stillness is not weakness, it is a blade drawn in the shadows, invisible until it strikes. Think of the predator. The lion waits in the tall grass, unmoving, for hours. It does not waste energy with needless charges. It does not roar to announce its hunger. It waits, patient, calculating, and when the moment arrives, when prey wanders just close enough, the strike is instant and final. This is predator's patience, the discipline to hold back impulse until precision guarantees victory. You must adopt this. Do not leap at every opportunity, every distraction, every bait thrown your way. Restrain yourself until the strike is certain. Patience is not inaction, it is strategy. Stillness is superiority. While others panic and rush into the board like reckless pawns, you calculate. Imagine the chess grandmaster sitting across from an opponent who grows nervous under silence. He does not rush his move. He pauses. He leans back. He watches. The longer he waits, the more his opponent doubts their own position. That pause is power, because in that pause, information surfaces. Weakness reveals itself. The frantic opponent burns energy while the calm player sharpens his next decisive move. Life mirrors this board. Most people are desperate to respond instantly. Emails, arguments, temptations. They react, and in reacting, they reveal their hand. But you, if you weaponize stillness, become the strategist. You act only when the blow cannot be countered. This silence is also psychological warfare. In negotiations, the one who speaks less holds more power. Most people cannot endure silence. They fill it with nervous words, concessions, and mistakes. In relationships, in business, even in conflict, the calm man who does not rush to reply forces the other to show themselves. They reveal weakness by over-explaining. They betray insecurity by justifying. Your silence extracts the truth. This is not passive. It is the art of pressure without moving a finger. The stakes are high. If you cannot master stillness, you become like prey, skittish, predictable, burning energy until you collapse. You lunge too soon, reveal too much, surrender your position. But if you discipline yourself to stay still, to breathe when others panic, to wait when others crumble, then you rise above. You gain the vantage of the predator, the strategist, the sovereign. So train yourself to pause. Do not speak first in conflict. Do not act on impulse when anger flares. Do not rush to prove yourself. Hold, wait. Watch. Then strike when the world has already weakened itself. Be still, be sharp, strike once. It is better to be feared than loved. If you cannot be both, you stand in a battlefield not of swords and steel, but of your own mind and energy. To rise, you must wield the brutal craft of ruthless elimination. You must burn what diminishes you. Armies throughout history have ignited their own lamps to leave nothing of value for a pursuing enemy. In Portugal, during the Napoleonic Wars, civilians and soldiers alike destroyed every resource, food, supplies, rather than let French forces use them. The invading army found empty fields, barren roads, and land turned to ash. Their advance stalled. Their morale collapsed. You must apply this scorched earth strategy to your life. Torched routines, hollow habits, weak ties, if they feed mediocrity, burn them. Value cannot be diluted. Your attention, your focus, your energy, these are finite. Spread them across empty pursuits, and you weaken your purpose. You stop being valuable. You become noisy. Imagine armies scattering arrows across the sky while their enemy concentrates one arrow on the enemy king. Your aim must be that sharp. Commands: sever the distractions, decline the trivial. Let your energy concentrate, not bleed. The true betrayal is fear of loss. You cling to projects, relationships, habits, because you've already invested in them. That's the sunk cost fallacy. You stay stuck because of what you've lost, not because of what you gain. You sacrifice future strength to honor past losses. You waste hours, days, years, feeding something that's finished. You must kill what no longer serves you. Let go. Withdraw. Stop feeding the corpse. Imagine your life as a kingdom. Some courtiers, some tasks offer no loyalty to your throne. Some demands feel urgent, but only steal from your succession. You must burn the bridges behind you. Let no true enemy or even false ally cross them again. Remove the bed that comforts you too much. Close the group that drains you with status quests. Cancel the project that stole your mornings. Only then does value flourish in the remains. The cost of failure is fatal. Leave mediocrity standing, and you become its victim. Be diluted, and no one fears your blade. Be full of what fails you, and your throne loses its throne. But were you to burn the unnecessary, prioritize the essential, discard the dead, you become a weapon forged by decision, not indecision. You become dangerous. So learn the art of ruthless elimination. Burn the bridges, purge the false, cut the chains of comfort and sunk cost. Let value fill the void. Burn what holds you, reign with what remains. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. You step into a world watching your every move. Every gaze weighs you. They will try to see your hesitation, your worry, your wound. You must present not who you are, but who you need them to believe you are. Your mask is the crown you hold over the battlefield of perception. Since ancient times, leaders have understood this truth. The throne is not won only by deeds, but by the appearance of invincibility. The leader of men in warfare must fashion a mask of command, confidence painted across their face, resolve projected in their posture. The masses demand to see certainty. They must believe in your hill, your banner, your steel. Let them never glimpse your doubt. The mask is your fortress, your weapon, your throne. Command is theater. Imagine Alexander the Great standing over his troops, driving them forward by the spectacle of his courage. He choreographed his presence as much as his campaigns, crafting the image of a fearless king. His words followed that image. He invoked scars like proof of sacrifice. The wounds became visible credentials, proof of his unwavering devotion to conquest and to the men who followed him. That theater of command shaped an army that followed him across deserts and rivers. You must perform the same. In public, in every exchange, display not fragility, but the calm authority of a ruler who will not be overturned. When doubt whispers, you deliver certainty. When uncertainty looms, you radiate purpose. In that performance, people align with you. They do not follow states. They follow symbols. Perception is armor. Never let rivals see your cracks. They will point to them. They will recall them. Your mask must hold tight even when your heart trembles. If opponents sense your wound, they will swarm. They will test you there, so show nothing. Let your confidence be smooth and unbroken. Let your silence hold power. Your mask is your shield against the siege. In modern arenas, whether the boardroom, social media, political debate, the mask defines your rank. You are judged not just on what you know, but how you appear. A leader calm in crisis draws attention. An executive who projects control outranks one who panics. On social media, the polished narrative outweighs the messy truth. Control your image. Guard your presence. Let your mask dictate your position before words even form. Every moment without the mask is a retreat from power. Without command of your image, opponents fill the void. But when you step forward, clad in unwavering presence, you rise above questions. You become the image others see when they envision authority. So, craft your mask with discipline. Cement your posture with intention. Project strength, even in silence. Hold the stage. Wear the crown before the throne appears. Unbroken. Rule the court. Wars begin when you will, but they do not end when you please. Machiavelli's words strike like a blade, but the battlefield he spoke of is not only nations and armies, it exists within you. Every day, you march into war against yourself. On one side stands the king within you, disciplined, calculating, ruthless in pursuit of power. On the other side stands the coward, whining, trembling, shackled by fear and hesitation. Both live under the same skin. Both demand the throne of your life. The question is simple: who do you crown? Inside you, there is always a duel. Imagine a throne room split in two. To your left, the king draped in iron, eyes sharp, ready to command empires. To your right, the coward slouched, mumbling excuses, clutching fragile comforts like broken shields. Every decision you make, no matter how small, is a dagger handed to one and a wound carved into the other. When you procrastinate, when you surrender to distraction, when you justify weakness, you kneel to the coward. But when you take action despite fear, when you sharpen discipline against resistance, you feed the king. This dual identity is not a metaphor to admire. It is a battlefield you must dominate. The coward does not die easily. He hides behind seductive whispers. Tomorrow is safer. One more hour, just once more. He wears the face of addiction, of laziness, of endless scrolling, of false comfort that erodes you like rust on steel. To defeat him, you cannot negotiate, you cannot persuade, you must assassinate, strike without mercy, kill hesitation before it speaks. Execute procrastination the moment it lifts its head. Cut down the softness that seeks to dull your edge. Every king has enemies at his gates. Yours simply live inside your chest. Modern psychology calls it the battle with self-sabotage, the clash against the sunk cost of your own bad habits. You know the feeling. You hold on to what weakens you simply because you've invested time in it, even when it poisons you. This is no different from a general refusing to abandon a sinking fortress. The result is always collapse. To rise, you must be merciless. To ascend, you must cut ties even with parts of yourself that feel familiar, because comfort is the coward's weapon. Understand this truth. Transformation is not gentle, it is bloody. You cannot walk into a higher self without dragging the corpse of your weaker self behind you. Every rebirth is violent when the assassin within you slays excuses, fear and hesitation. Blood will spill because a part of you must die for the rest of you to live. That pain is proof. That violence is growth. The coward bleeds so the king can rule. You may feel the sting of loss when you cut away what has defined you, old routines, old pleasures, even old identities, but that is the necessary cost of conquest. Empires are built not by sparing the weak, but by destroying them. The same law governs the empire of the self. So sharpen the blade. Silence the coward before he speaks. Do not grant him mercy. Stand as executioner over your lesser self, because every moment you delay his death, he plots your downfall. Kill weakness, crown the king. You must still keep the fire within, or it burns you out. Hunger is not a liability, it is the fuel of kings. Without it, talent stagnates. Without it, value rots. You must learn to feed the wolf inside you. Cultivate that feral hunger, sharpened by scarcity and driven by victory. Imagine a wolf in the wild. It may go days, even weeks, without a kill, oscillating between starvation and abundance in a feast or famine cycle. When the kill finally comes, the wolf gorges, consuming up to 20% of its body weight in a single feast. That hunger, that emptiness, it is not weakness. It is the predator's edge. It keeps instincts alive, senses honed, focus razor sharp. Scarcity makes the predator hunt harder. That hunger is not a flaw. It is a weapon waiting to be wielded. Now peer into your own life. Comfort wraps around you like a shroud. Ease dulls you. You must manufacture scarcity. Deny yourself the comforts that lull you into complacency. Embrace fasting or a cold plunge before dawn. Both train your will. Cold water shocks your system, triggers clarity, builds discipline. Fasting strips away craving, and in that void, you meet yourself, you meet hunger, and you become stronger. Scarcity is not punishment. It is preparation. The moment you deny yourself ease, you teach your mind to chase clarity. You teach it to hunt your goals with the ferocity of a wolf in need. But hunger alone is not enough. You must feed the wolf with victory. Small wins are the meat that sustains your drive. Each disciplined morning, each hour conquered, each routine mastered, these are meals for the wolf. They reinforce your identity as a predator, not prey. They sharpen your will. They etch your hunger deeper. Do not wait for grand conquest. Feast on discipline, bite by bite. Let the cost of failure burn in your chest. Without hunger, you become soft. With too much comfort, your instincts rust, and predators chew through you while you sleep. But if you feed your inner wolf with calculated deprivation, survival becomes instinct, and with each victory, you feed back your hunger, reinforcing it. So strip away comfort, hunt for clarity, feast on victories, small and sharp. Let your hunger fuel your rise. Hunger sharpens, victory feeds the wolf. You must anticipate not just the next move, but the one after that, and the one after that. Your life is a chessboard, and every decision is a piece sliding into place. You're not a pawn shuffled by chance. You are the Grand Master, plotting 10 moves ahead. Your value grows not in reaction, but in strategy. Leaders like Napoleon understood this. He surrounded his enemies, pinning them while cutting off their lines, like a chessboard flanked with invisible snipers. In his Ulm campaign, he never engaged directly. He enveloped the Austrians, severed their communications, and forced surrender before they even knew a battle had begun. That is sacrifice and strategy in one lethal stroke, giving up lesser positions to corner the king. You must do the same. Let go of small wins if they dilute your focus. Abandon distractions that leave you exposed. Sacrifice to secure the decisive strike. Emotion has no place on your board. Hot heads ignite, then burn out. Cold calculation wins empires. When others lash out, you advance. When rivals give in to panic, you lean back and calculate your way forward. You see their cracks where they see chaos. That clarity is your dominance. Some plays take years to unfold. Most career paths don't bend overnight. Strategic players know that positioning may be invisible for months, even years. Look at modern leaders who treated career moves as gambits, seemingly risky steps now that unlock crowns later. Think like the long-view champions, positioning patiently until the game swings on your terms. Plan beyond quarterly wins. Build alliances, learn skills, map outcomes, all quietly, all in darkness, until one day your move is unstoppable. If you fail to anticipate, you become prey. Opponents set traps. You chase the noise. You burn your pieces chasing short gains. But when you anticipate, you shape the battlefield. You sacrifice the expendable, act with precision, and wait on the right moment. Rule your life like the chessboard. Sacrifice with purpose. Calculate with clarity. Wait with posture. Move like a king. Play 10 moves ahead. Win the board. A nation is made great by its discipline, not by its numbers. Machiavelli might say if he surveyed the Spartan training grounds, "You live in a world built on fleeting effort, masked energy, and habits weaker than a broken sword. But you can forge yourself into something unbreakable, an iron will, instead of brittle ambition. Value demands ritualized resilience. You must press your will in the furnace of daily discipline until it becomes your armor." Sparta lived this truth. Through the Agodian, its brutal upbringing, boys became warriors by ritual. Deprived of comfort, stripped of ease, taught endurance as their only identity, they were forged through ritual. Barefoot, hungry, disciplined, they trained not to survive, but to become unbending steel. Their lives were an expression of relentless routine, where every hardship was designed to sculpt endurance into second nature. Your rituals are your drills. Repetition is the forge. Every dawn run, every focused practice, every refusal of distraction hammers you sharper. You're not layering habits, you're hammering your will into something solid. A single routine alone won't do it, but repeated with commitment, 1,000 times you become iron. When chaos strikes, an unexpected crisis, emotional collapse, external attack, your rituals grounded you. They are anchors dropped deep. Others collapse under pressure, unraveled by disorder. You, disciplined by ritual, stand unmoved. Your mind and body calibrated for conflict. Elite performers, from athletes to generals to CEOs, build their resilience on routines. The cold plunge before sunrise, the writing hour before email, the daily drill before the game. They weather the storm because they anchored themselves long before it came. The cost of failure is invisible until it's too late. Without ritual, your resolve falters. You become reactionary. You crack under pressure. Mediocrity overtakes you, not in a day, but with a series of missed dawns, skipped rehearsals, unmade commitments. Momentum disappears. Opportunity becomes dust, but the reward is transformation. Ritual gives you rhythm when the world spins. Ritual sculpts your nerves when the crowd screams. Ritual turns weak will into iron crown. You rise not by chance, but by structure. You become built for battle. So set your ritual, wake before distraction, train before comfort beckons. Write, rehearse, sharpen, not for applause, not for acknowledgement, but for the silent forging of your own steel. Hold it daily. Repeat. Build resilience until chaos shatters against you and yields. Forge your will. Let ritual become armor. Who then is invincible? The one who cannot be upset by anything outside their reasoned choice. This stoic truth is the cornerstone of your final fortress. You must build a stronghold around yourself so unyielding that betrayal, attacks, or loss cannot breach your walls. Dangerous value isn't fragile, it stands sovereign, untouchable. Every great fortress needed a moat. In medieval times, drawbridges lowered and enemies stood paralyzed by water, mud, and hidden traps. In strategy and business, this concept survives. Warren Buffett's economic moat describes a company's ability to fend off rivals through diversified strengths, brand, technology, scale, loyalty, switching costs. You are your own castle. You must build your moats, broaden your skills, forge alliances, cultivate streams of value that make you indispensable across domains. When your competence surrounds you like water, no single blow can drown your power. But armor must protect more than the flesh. It must steal identity. If your worth depends on external validation, praise, likes, promotions, then like an ill-fortified castle, your keep crumbles when invaders strike. You must internalize your value, draw from the deep earth of your integrity, your discipline, your blood-forged resilience. When your identity is sovereign within, no thief, rumor, or loss can take it from you. You become invulnerable, not because outside forces relent, but because they cannot reach you. And then there is the fortress of silence. In battle, uttering nothing protects you. You give no clue. Ambushes fail to surprise you. Rivals storm your gates only to find you unmoved. In negotiations, in conflict, in chaos, reacting is vulnerability. Stillness is strategy. Let them exhaust themselves with attempts to provoke a response. Let them burn themselves out against gates, fortified by calm. When they finally break, they break against your quiet strength. The cost of being dismantled is primal. Betrayals break trust. Attacks shatter resolve. Loss disarms your voice, unless your fortress stands before the assault. But if your moats are deep, your identity unshakable, your silence unyielding, you rise above every blow. So, build your moat, invest in skills, alliances, streams of value, carve your identity into bedrock, so nothing stolen can unmake you. Stand silent, unmoved, as the world rages at your walls, and let them tire first. Build the moat. Hold the keep. Be untouchable. All courses of action are risky, so prudence is not in avoiding danger, but calculating risk and acting decisively. You've seized the throne of your inner realm. You've conquered dawns, silenced distractions, slain weakness, fed your hunger, sacrificed moves, forged ritual, and built your fortress. Now you stand at the summit, the dangerous man who ascends beyond competition. You are the predator king. You have transformed, no longer the pawn reacting to the whims of others. You've shaped every move with ruthless intention. You evolved from struggling anonymity into a sovereign predator whose value forces the world to orbit your gravity. Your presence reorders reality. Competitors circle you, allies align to you, opponents tremble at your approach. Historically, the world has always bent toward those who radiate dangerous value. Machiavelli observed in The Prince that a battle won cancels all your mistakes. When your power is unmistakable, your empire reshapes itself around you. You do not beg for advantage, you demand it. Your ascent isn't granted by luck or pedigree or privilege. It is carved in iron and fire, framed by every quiet battlefield you claimed in the dark. You are not optional. You code your fate. You script your ascent through discipline, patience, stillness, hunger, strategy, ritual, and fortress. Each principle fused into you, each move calculated, each ounce of your will sharpened by adversity and ritualized confrontation. The battlefield isn't outside, it's your being. Every conquered dawn, every silent pause, every eliminated distraction, every hunger-fueled strike, every long-game move, every forged habit, and every moat built around your sovereign identity. These have alchemized you. You are danger and power and sovereignty itself in human form. Now the world responds. Rivals no longer threaten, they orbit. They measure their efforts against your standard. Allies approach with reverence, seeking strength in your gravity. Even enemies hesitate. They know the terrain has shifted. You command it. You cannot be ignored. You are a valuable weapon. Your ascent is no moment. It is a legacy in motion. Wear that truth as armor. Let each breath affirm sovereignty. You are the dangerous man ascending. Be predator king. The world bends to value, A wise ruler should rely on what is under his own control, not on what is under the control of others. You stand at the threshold. The final choice is laid before you, throne or chains. You are either the sovereign of your life or a subject to every external force that commands your time, your focus, your self. Sovereignty begins inside. Unless you command yourself first with your habits, your mind, your dedication, you remain eternally subject, never ascending. Legacy is not handed down. It is carved. Dangerous value is your legacy. When you become so undeniably indispensable, so ferociously disciplined, strategically feared, quietly powerful, the world itself bows. Competitors orbit, allies attach, enemies pause. You become a force that shapes reality. Imagine a throne carved from your own will. It stands not because others built it, but because you refused to sit anywhere else. Every ritual you enforced, every weakness you eliminated, every strategic sacrifice made the throne steadier. When the world rushes, you stand. When chaos rallies, you remain the calm center. And that is why you cannot be ignored. This moment is your command. Crown yourself with discipline. Arm yourself with quiet confidence. Build the value that cannot be replaced. Control yourself, and no one controls you. Build value, and no one replaces you. This is your war cry.